Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today into a date packed with historical twists and turns, November 6th.
It's intriguing, right? Just looking at the Arabic Wikipedia page for 6 EANs.
Ah, that's November 6th for anyone who doesn't read Arabic.
Exactly. And it's incredible the sheer range of events that have happened on this date.
We've got elections that sparked wars, scientific breakthroughs, even the birth of a beloved sport, all on November 6th.
What's really fascinating about anniversaries like this is the ripple effect. You can see how history is interconnected.
It's like looking through a kaleidoscope, right? All these seemingly separate moments swirling together.
Exactly. For example, we start in 1860 with Abraham Lincoln.
Elected president on November 6th, setting the stage for the American Civil War. Talk about a date that changed a nation.
Absolutely. Lincoln's election was a turning point. The nation was so divided over slavery, and his anti-slavery platform,
It
well,
was like lighting the fuse for the South's secession.
precisely. To understand this, you have to picture the political climate back then. Tensions were incredibly high.
Multiple parties, different visions for the future of the country. It wasn't just another election.
Right. It was a clash of ideologies, and the repercussions, well, they're still felt today.
The Civil War reshaped America. Socially, politically, economically.
It led to the abolition of slavery, of course. But the debates we see today about race, equality, and civil rights, they have roots in this pivotal period.
It's incredible how one event can echo through generations. And from a divided America, we jump to scientific discovery.
1944,
Yeah.
same date, scientists produced plutonium for the first time.
Mm.
The Hanford site in Washington State.
The dawn of the atomic age.
It was a game changer, no doubt. Plutonium opened up possibilities, for better or worse. Nuclear weapons, nuclear energy.
This tiny element completely reshaped the global landscape.
It forced nations to confront the power of the atom, its potential for destruction, but also for progress.
It's like humanity was handed this incredible power and had to figure out what to do with it, and quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a scientific achievement, it was a turning point in human history, bringing ethical questions and anxieties.
The world suddenly had to consider nuclear war, and that fear shaped global politics for decades.
Absolutely. Now, in contrast to this, we go back to 1913, 31 years earlier.
To South Africa, where Mahatma Gandhi was arrested during a protest, a champion of peaceful resistance.
His arrest on November 6th was just one small part of his lifelong fight for equality and human rights.
He was leading a march of Indian miners protesting discriminatory laws.
Right. And this might seem minor compared to, say, the Civil War or the creation of plutonium, but it shows something powerful.
The unwavering belief in peaceful resistance.
Exactly. It demonstrates that even when facing immense power, individuals can still make a difference.
And sometimes those acts of courage inspire entire movements.
Gandhi's actions in South Africa, including this arrest, they shaped his philosophy of nonviolent resistance.
Which became central to the Indian independence movement. Satyagraha, civil disobedience. It ultimately helped India gain independence from British rule.
A reminder that history isn't just about wars and powerful nations. It's also shaped by individuals like Gandhi, people who stand up for what they believe in, even if it means facing arrest.
While Gandhi was fighting for equality, a different kind of struggle was brewing. Fast forward to 1975.
Morocco, the Green March, a massive mobilization of people.
King Hassan II orchestrated it to reclaim the Western Sahara, then under Spanish control.
Over 350,000 Moroccans marched across the border, carrying just the Quran and Moroccan flags.
A powerful display of national unity.
A turning point in the Western Sahara conflict, for sure.
It must have been an incredible sight. But it wasn't just a simple land grab, was it?
Right. The Green March has deep historical and political roots. You have to consider decolonization happening across Africa and the world at that time.
Morocco claimed ties to the Western Sahara, and this was their way to assert sovereignty and challenge Spanish rule.
It was a bold move, tapping into rising nationalism and the desire for self-determination.
And yet, history rarely offers simple solutions. Even today, the Western Sahara conflict is unresolved.
It's a stark reminder of colonialism's lasting effects and the complexities of territorial disputes.
Like those 350,000 footsteps left a mark that's still there.
A very insightful observation. The Green March's legacy is still debated. Morocco gained control, but the Sahrawi people's right to self-determination
Remains a point of contention.
The Green March becomes a case study in the challenges of decolonization, national identity, and the pursuit of territorial integrity.
One event with far-reaching consequences, sparking debates that continue even now. And speaking of long-lasting impacts, our November 6th journey takes us to Iran, 1978.
A pivotal year. The country was on the verge of a revolution.
And on November 6th, Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi imposed martial law. He wanted to quell the growing unrest and protests against his rule.
A desperate attempt to cling to power, but it backfired.
Instead of calming things down, it added fuel to the fire.
Exactly. Imposing martial law was seen as weakness, as desperation. It alienated people further, fueling the revolutionary fervor.
To understand this, we need to grasp the complex social and political dynamics in Iran at the time.
There was a lot going on, but one key factor was the Shah's authoritarian rule, his close ties to the West, especially the U.S.
His modernization policies, were they seen as benefiting the elite at the expense of others?
Often, yes. There was a sense that the Shah's regime was out of touch with the needs of the people.
Political repression, economic inequality, cultural clashes, it created this perfect storm for revolution.
Precisely. And the Shah's decision on November 6th to impose martial law was a crucial turning point.
Like a catalyst pushing Iran closer to the brink.
It's remarkable how one decision can have a massive impact, a domino effect, setting off a whole chain of events.
And in this case, attempting to suppress dissent led to the Shah's downfall, paving the way for the Islamic Republic in 1979.
It's a reminder that even powerful leaders aren't immune to the forces of history. When people demand change, regimes can crumble.
While Iran was nearing revolution, another nation was recovering from a devastating war.
In 1991, November 6th, the last burning oil well in Kuwait was extinguished.
Symbolic end to the Gulf War's environmental catastrophe. I remember those images on the news, the raging infernos.
The environmental impact was catastrophic. Hundreds of oil wells ablaze, toxic smoke, oil lakes polluting the land and water.
Extinguishing that last well was a milestone, but the scars remained.
Right. It reminds us that the consequences of war go beyond the battlefield, affecting the environment and the human spirit.
And as we continue with November 6th, it's not just wars and revolutions, it's also a day for remarkable individuals. Births that shape the world.
Rulers, artists, all sorts of fascinating figures.
Shall we delve into some of these life stories?
Absolutely. Let's start with someone who ruled one of history's most powerful empires. 1494, November 6th, Suleiman the Magnificent was born.
He became the 10th and longest reigning sultan of the Ottoman Empire. Expansion, cultural flourishing, legal reforms.
He's often considered the greatest Ottoman sultan. His reign, over 4 decades, saw incredible military achievements, architectural grandeur, a flourishing of arts and sciences.
His legacy as a wise ruler, a skilled strategist, a patron of the arts, it's still felt today.
Absolutely. Now, from empires to sports, we move to another birth.
Same date, 1861, James Naismith is born. You might not recognize the name, but you definitely know what he created.
Basketball. Who knew a game created to keep students active in winter would become a global phenomenon?
Today, millions play it worldwide. It transcends cultures and languages, entertainment, competition, inspiration.
It all started with one man's idea.
A world without basketball. Unimaginable. Naismith's legacy lives on every time someone dribbles a ball or makes a slam dunk.
It truly is amazing. And November 6th isn't just about historical titans and sports legends. It also brought us talent that graced the silver screen.
1988, same date, Emma Stone was born.
From Superbad to her Oscar-winning performance in La La Land, she's captivated audiences with her versatility, comedic timing, dramatic range.
A Hollywood A-lister, known for her charm and ability to connect with viewers.
A force to be reckoned with, without a doubt.
One of the most talented actresses of her generation. So from historical figures to Hollywood stars, November 6th brought us those who shaped our world.
But as we know, life has beginnings and endings. We've celebrated births, but November 6th also marks the passing of some iconic figures.
Should we pay tribute to their legacy?
Absolutely. Every ending is also a new beginning, a chance to reflect on those who came before us. Let's start with a musical genius.
1893, November 6th, Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky, the renowned Russian composer, died at the age of 53.
His ballets, like Swan Lake and the Nutcracker, they're timeless classics.
Beloved by audiences of all ages, and his symphonies and concertos, masterpieces of the Romantic era.
Filled with emotion, drama, soaring melodies.
His music is a gift, reminding us of the power to transcend time and touch the human soul.
His ability to convey human emotion is what makes his work so enduring. From joy and wonder to tragedy and despair, he explored the full spectrum of human experience.
It's incredible how music can have such an impact. transporting us, evoking such strong emotions.
Tchaikovsky's legacy is a reminder that true art transcends time, resonating with generations. Now, our exploration of November 6th takes us back to a different era,
A time of religious conflict and upheaval in Europe.
the 30 Years' War, a devastating conflict that ravaged Europe in the 17th century. And on November 6, 1632, King Gustavus Adolphus of Sweden died in battle.
A key figure in the war, his death was a turning point, changing the balance of power and contributing to the eventual peace.
He entered the war in 1630 on the side of the Protestant German princes, a brilliant military strategist, a charismatic leader.
A champion of the Protestant cause.
Exactly. His victories, his unwavering commitment made him formidable. But his death at the Battle of Lutzen was a major blow.
The war continued for another 16 years, but his leadership and military genius had a lasting impact.
It's a reminder that even in chaos and bloodshed, individuals can be beacons of hope, catalysts for change.
Gustavus Adolphus's legacy as a military leader and a champion of religious freedom continues to be studied and debated today. And speaking of legacies, let's go back to Suleiman the Magnificent.
He also died on November 6th, but in 1566. Quite a coincidence.
Two influential figures from different eras and parts of the world sharing the same death date.
Suleiman's death marked the end of an era for the Ottoman Empire. His 46-year reign saw it at its peak. Territorial expansion, cultural achievements, military might.
His passing, while not unexpected given his age, signaled a gradual decline in the empire's power.
It really is remarkable, isn't it?
It is this date, November 6th, marking both the rise and fall of empires, the birth of new ideas, the passing of those who shaped history. It makes you think about the significance of dates.
How they intersect with human lives and the stories they tell.
So as we wrap up this first part of our deep dive into November 6th, what stands out to you most?
The sheer diversity of events on this single date. From Lincoln's election and the Civil War to the creation of plutonium and the birth of basketball.
November 6th has truly been a microcosm of human history.
It shows us that history isn't just dates and names. It's a tapestry woven with countless stories, perspectives, and turning points. And as we continue, we'll uncover even more fascinating events from this remarkable date.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of our deep dive into November 6th.
It really is incredible how much can happen on just one date. You know, the heights of achievement, the depths of conflict, it's all there.
It is. And we're not done with November 6th yet. Remember that plutonium production we talked about? Well, there's more to that story. It wasn't just about bombs.
Ah, yes. November 6th also has a connection to a pivotal moment in nuclear energy research.
Okay, I'm all ears. What happened?
A few weeks before that plutonium milestone, on December 2nd, 1942.
So not actually on November 6th.
Right, not exactly. But it's relevant to our discussion, I think. On December 2nd, Enrico Fermi and his team, they achieved the first controlled nuclear chain reaction in Chicago.
Yeah.
It was a breakthrough, really, paving the way for nuclear reactors, for harnessing nuclear energy, for peaceful purposes, and also for military ones, of course.
It's like November 6th keeps popping up around these key moments in science, where innovation, well, it clashes with societal anxieties and ethical dilemmas.
Exactly. Fermi's chain reaction, it was a turning point. It showed the immense power of the atom, but also raised concerns about the dangers.
The world had to grapple with a whole new kind of warfare, one with unthinkable destructive capabilities.
Precisely. It wasn't a simple discovery. It was a turning point for humanity. And speaking of turning points, let's go back to the Green March.
We were talking about that earlier, weren't we? Morocco reclaiming the Western Sahara.
Yes, and while Morocco did gain control, the conflict, well, still continues today. Disputes over self-determination, accusations of human rights violations.
A cautionary tale, I suppose, about the complexities of territorial disputes and the legacy of colonialism.
It highlights the importance of understanding history, the perspectives of everyone involved. The Sahrawi people, the indigenous population of Western Sahara, they've been fighting for their right to self-determination for decades.
It's sad to think about it, really. A movement that started with such hope and unity, with that image of thousands marching peacefully, and now this long, unresolved conflict.
You make a good point. The Western Sahara conflict, it's like a microcosm of the challenges faced by many post-colonial nations. Identity, sovereignty, self-determination.
And the process of decolonization, it's rarely simple, is it?
You're right. It's complex. Negotiations, power struggles, unresolved issues that can last for generations.
It's a lot to think about. Let's shift gears a bit. Back to James Naismith and basketball. He invented the game, but it wasn't instantly popular, was it?
It took a while. But there's a November 6th connection here, too.
Oh, tell me.
In 1946, on that date, the Basketball Association of America, or BAA, was founded. It later merged with the National Basketball League to form the NBA.
The NBA. Wow. Can you imagine a world without it?
It's hard to, isn't it? From Michael Jordan to LeBron James, the global reach of the game, it's become a cultural touchstone.
And it all started with one man's idea.
It's amazing what sports can do, transcending borders, bringing people together through passion and competition. And speaking of transcending boundaries, remember Emma Stone?
Oh, yes, the actress.
Right. She's become a vocal advocate for mental health awareness.
I did hear about that.
She's been open about her struggles with anxiety, with panic attacks, and it's helped to destigmatize mental health issues.
Encouraging others to seek help.
Exactly. And it's resonated with a lot of people, especially young people who might feel alone or ashamed when facing mental health challenges.
It's a powerful message, isn't it? It's okay to not be okay. And seeking help, well, that's strength, not weakness.
Exactly. Now, let's remember some others who passed away on November 6th. We've talked about Tchaikovsky, King Gustav Adolphus,
Right.
but there are more. In 1964, for instance, Hans von Euler-Chelpin passed away, a Swedish biochemist.
I don't think I recognize the name.
He won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1929. His work on enzymes and fermentation was groundbreaking, really.
How so?
It impacted our understanding of biological processes, paving the way for advancements in medicine, agriculture, biotechnology. His discoveries, made decades ago, well, they still shape our world.
It's fascinating how research can have such a lasting impact. Okay, what about other notable deaths?
In 1836, Charles X, the last Bourbon king of France, died in exile. His reign was full of turmoil, ending with the July Revolution in 1830.
So he had to flee the country.
That's right. It shows the fragility of monarchies when faced with popular uprisings, with demands for change.
Sometimes history turns against those who refuse to adapt.
It does. Now, this next event is a bit more recent, and a somber one.
Okay.
In 2022, there was a plane crash in Tanzania. 19 people lost their lives.
It's awful.
It was a tragic accident, reminding us that amidst the grand narratives of history, individual lives matter. Each person on that plane had their own story, their own dreams, loved ones.
It's a reminder to cherish every day, isn't it? To appreciate the preciousness of life.
It is. Okay, before we move to the final part of our dive, I want to share a few more interesting bits from the Arabic Wikipedia page. Ready?
Of course, hit me.
In 1922, November 6th, the United Kingdom granted Ireland Dominion status.
So, a step towards independence.
Exactly. It reflected the growing desire for self-determination in Ireland. And while it wasn't full independence, it did lead to the Irish Free State a few years later.
Another instance of November 6th and these shifts in power in political realities.
Now, for something a bit different, a natural event. In 2005, Hurricane Ivan, one of the most powerful ever recorded, hit Kentucky and Indiana.
Hurricanes that far inland.
It's rare, but it happened. Widespread damage really highlighted the unpredictable nature of extreme weather.
We tend to think of hurricanes as coastal threats, but Ivan, well, it showed that their impact can reach much further.
And to wrap up this part, a little something to ponder. Did you know November 6th is Constitution Day in two countries?
Two. Which ones?
The Dominican Republic and Tajikistan.
That's interesting. Same date, different meanings for different cultures and notions.
It shows how history is multifaceted. We see it through so many lenses.
Like we're piecing together a global puzzle, each piece a unique story, a different perspective, a shared human experience. It's been quite a journey so far, this deep dive into November 6th.
We've explored wars, revolutions, scientific breakthroughs, cultural moments, births and deaths that shaped the world, and there's still more to come.
I'm ready for the final part, for sure.
Let's see what other treasures we can unearth from the annals of history.
More treasures, huh? I'm ready to keep digging. It's mind-blowing how much we've covered already. Empires, modern events, all tied to November 6th.
It is remarkable. And what I find fascinating is how history often reveals these unexpected connections. Things that seem unrelated, but they're not.
Oh, like what? Give me an example.
Well, we talked about plutonium, about the first controlled nuclear chain reaction, the atomic age, right. But November 6th also connects to space exploration.
Space exploration. Okay, you've got my attention.
In 1996, on that date, NASA launched the Mars Global Surveyor.
The Mars Global Surveyor.
It was a big deal, this mission, a major step in understanding Mars. The Surveyor orbited Mars for almost a decade.
A decade. Wow.
Mapping the surface, studying the atmosphere and magnetic field. It even found evidence of past liquid water.
So from the atom to Mars, November 6th has seen some pretty pivotal scientific
It
moments.
really has. And it speaks to human curiosity, our drive to explore the unknown, whether it's tiny atoms or distant planets.
Speaking of exploring the unknown, let's go back to basketball. James Naismith invented it, but it wasn't an overnight success.
No, it wasn't. But on November 6, 1946, something important happened. The Basketball Association of America, the BAA, was founded.
The BAA, and that eventually became
The NBA.
the NBA. Wow. From a game to keep students active in winter to a global phenomenon.
It's remarkable, isn't it? A multi-billion-dollar industry, captivating fans worldwide. A cultural touchstone.
Basketball really is a universal language.
It is. Now, shifting gears a bit, November 6th is also a day that celebrates the power of words and ideas. 1986, same date, the National Book Critics Circle Awards were presented for the first time.
The National Book Critics Circle Awards.
Big deal in the literary world, recognizing excellence in publishing, celebrating authors, critics, publishers, everyone who contributes to the literary landscape.
It's interesting, isn't it? This one date, November 6th, it touches on so many aspects of human endeavor. Science, sports, politics, literature.
It's like weaving a tapestry, wouldn't you say? Each thread representing something different about our shared history.
A tapestry. I like that.
And speaking of tapestry, let's talk about art and architecture. On November 6, 1978, the East Building of the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. was inaugurated.
The East Building.
An architectural masterpiece designed by I.M. Pei. Modern architecture at its finest, geometric shapes, sharp angles, natural light.
It houses an incredible collection of modern and contemporary art.
It does. And it's a popular destination for art lovers and architecture buffs alike.
It's amazing how a building can become a work of art itself.
Isn't it? Human creativity transforming space into something functional and beautiful.
Okay, I'm ready for another historical tidbit. What else do you got?
How about this? On November 6, 1947, Meet the Press premiered on NBC.
Meet the Press. Wow, that's a long-running show.
The longest-running TV program in American history, actually, known for its in-depth interviews.
Yeah.
Political leaders, newsmakers, influential figures.
It's a Sunday morning tradition for political junkies like me.
It's been a forum for political discourse for over 7 decades, providing a platform for so many voices and perspectives.
That's pretty incredible. Okay, last fact for today.
Last one. In 1975, on this date, the United Nations General Assembly recognized the Palestine Liberation Organization, the PLO.
As the representative of the Palestinian people.
Exactly, a landmark decision. It changed things on the international stage, giving the PLO a stronger voice. It contributed to the ongoing debate about the future of Palestine.
History is always evolving, isn't it?
It is. Power dynamics shift, international perceptions change. It never really stops.
So we've gone from the atomic age to exploring Mars, from basketball to the recognition of the Palestinian people. This November 6th journey has been quite a ride.
It has been. And for everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity. Remember, history isn't just about dates and names. It's about the stories of people, their triumphs, their struggles, their dreams.
And we're all a part of history, even in small ways, right? Our actions, our choices, our contributions, they all matter.
They do. So keep exploring, keep questioning, keep learning. There's always something new to discover.
A new perspective, a hidden connection. History is a never-ending journey.
And we're all travelers on that path, so stay curious, everyone.
And until next time, happy diving.